Peace and love, everybody. This is Ayana the Model back with another episode of Sex Talk with Highness. There are two people in Highness. It is a sister rap duo that includes both Rebel and Queenie. So, waiting for them to join. They should be ready. Let me make sure that I do send out a request to them so that they can jump on and we can get started. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Hey. Like,
hey, beautiful. All
right. How you?
Okay. I ain't seen you blonde again. Right?
Yes. Very
blonde hair, don't care.
I want to get to the white and then cut it down real low. Get real cute.
You just gonna cut it more low?
I definitely want to cut it low. I think I'm gonna let it grow out a little bit more. I don't know.
I love it for the like blonde, the icy blonde curls. It's like
right.
Do some finger waves
like
one time.
Like this.
Oh, you should do some waves. Have you done finger waves yet?
No, finger waves? No, yes. I've never done finger waves.
Oh shit!
Although
I know you would.
I've always wanted to, but I know that's one of those things that you have to kind of like straighten your hair to do, or keep your hair straight to do.
No, you don't have to.
You don't?
No, you don't have to. I said I don't think so. This one girl was gonna do finger waves in my hair when I had like big chop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to.
Okay. Well, if you want me to do that, then I am ready for it. But if you need to, then
I'd be really cute. Okay. Oh yeah.
But yes, where are you? How are you, ladies? How are things?
We're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Got new music coming, so we
So briefly introduce yourselves, your name, and just a smidge of what you do, because of course you're going to get into questions that further kind of explore those things.
Right. So I'm Queen. I'm Rebel, and together we are Highness. And we're a rap duo based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now reside in ATLA. No, but yeah, basically. Singers, songwriters, rappers, dancers, all that. All these. We treat smokers. Hope that's all right.
I mean, it is what it is. We got Lock It In from Baltimore. We got people from Miami tuning in.
All right.
We got all the things. Yes. I'm just...
That's smart.
So I know that we did a sex talk with Rebel and we left off on some other things, but I feel like since your sister is here, I kind of want to redirect the questions that I had with you kind of back to her and see how she feels a little bit too. Okay. So I want to start off with Queenie and ask, what is your relationship to sex?
My relationship to sex. That's an interesting question for me.
The first thing that comes to your mind.
I would say I don't think it's very good. I don't think I have a good relationship, if I'm being like honest with myself.
Why is it not good?
You said why? I feel like I guess you could say I'm like inhibited a little bit. I feel like I've had like mostly bad experiences, so it's like it's not something that I'm really like get comfortable with. So I always say, like, if any of my chakras are blocked, it would probably be my sacral chakra, but it's like something that I'm actually like working on, like trying to like let go of like whatever that feeling is that makes me feel like very inhibited and just like standoffish when it comes to like sexual things. I don't know.
What do you mean by inhibited? Like, how are you inhibited?
Or uninhibited.
Or uninhibited, maybe that's what I meant to say. Yeah, just like, you know, like standoffish, I guess the word, or just like very like not closed-minded about it. Like, I don't really know the terminology that I'm trying to find to explain it, because it's not like I'm like a prude or anything. Like, I don't judge people or like anything of that kind of sort. But
you don't go down.
Huh?
You don't go down.
You know, I've done my share of that. But it's like, because of those things, it's like I'm very standoffish when it comes to it. Like, I'm not very open to it. It's not something I do often.
Does it cause you like any anxiety?
Yeah, like causes me anxieties. Like I would even beg to say, like, I have a little bit of fear when it when it comes to it. Like,
where do you think the fear comes from? From the fact that you've never had it be a good experience, or the fact that you are, or the fact that you just don't really, you're not scared to have a good experience. You're just scared to have another bad one.
Pretty much, yeah. I think it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like, I've just been with the same person for so long too, where it's like that you know what I mean, like
that's true. Each of your relationships were long.
Yeah, like I was kind of like into long situations, and so it was just like I'm used to this one person, so like if I'm not with that person, it's non-existent to me. Like I'm not having it, it's not around me, I'm not like thinking about it. And then it's like if it does get presented to me, I'm like, you know what I mean, like, hold on now, whoa.
Where do you think that whoa comes from? Like, do you feel, is it like, whoa, I don't like you, or like, whoa,
it's like I don't even know, 1,000 different things.
I'm scared to like you.
Yeah, it's all of that. It's a lot of it. I feel like it's just a lot of it does come from the stigma around sex and women as well. Or it was like for a long time it was like I'm not a hoe. I don't want you to think I'm a hoe. I don't want to be perceived as a hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't want none of that. Even though it's like if you a hoe, that's cool. I'm not really judging you for it, but I ain't no hoe, and don't ever come step to me like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like I just felt like I was afraid that it would lower my worth, or I was afraid that a man would be like, I'm gonna treat her different because, or I'm gonna disrespect her, or like, you know what I'm saying, that it would like, I don't know.
Like
I don't even
felt less worthy if you did.
Yeah, it was like anytime I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it this time. It's like, unless he was my boyfriend and we were in a relationship, it was like I shouldn't have done this. This was a bad experience, and now it's like everybody is like disrespecting me just because I did this one thing with this one person that was sexual.
So you internalize the value of yourself based on the fact that you had casual sex. Like you did not value casual sex. You saw yourself as being judged if you had casual sex. If you had casual sex, that would be something that would weigh on your value as a person, your self-confidence, your esteem, and you would only think that it actually made sense and was valuable, and you can actually have a reason for doing it if you were in a relationship.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
That's probably my fault.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
I feel like,
really? You think it's your fault? Why would you say that?
No, I mean, not complete. I'm not going to take all the blame.
But you think that like there's been some type of at least influence from the way that you've handled your relationships to how obviously your sister would see your relationship.
Yeah. And the way that I think too. Like when we were talking about like me just being a tomboy and
hanging around a lot of guys.
Yeah, like I was always very like, I'm not, I was kind of like mean a little bit to guys when it came to like them flirting with me and things like that. And I remember saying stuff to Samaya too when we was younger. Like,
put my whole name out there on.
But
now the cat's out the bag. No, go ahead.
But yeah, like I just remember constantly, not constantly, but I just remember certain talks. And me just being like, just trying to be that big sister and trying to tell her what I know and what I feel. I'm like, look, don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it unless they deserve it, unless they love you, unless they...
Yeah, you are a reason for a lot of that. And I don't know how much you've already said on the last sex talk that y'all have.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if it flows in and out of things that we're discussing.
True. Yeah. Because I'm about to say this, like, I watched you be with the same guy for like 7 years. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately. However many years was too many. You know what I mean? And it was like, and it was just that guy. Like, you literally lost your virginity to this dude, and then was with him for like almost 10 years. Like, and so it was like having that as a representation and being like. And then have her tell me, like, you shouldn't do that. And be like, no, I'm going to do it anyway because I promise you ain't going to go like how you saying it's going to go. And then doing it. And then it went exactly how she said it was going to go. And I'm like, she was right. She was right. This is what they talk about. This is what they need. So, yeah, over time of that, I guess, happening over and over, it just made me like very like, no. Then they're going to devalue you, so don't even do it. There's no point in doing it. You're not going to enjoy it. He's going to devalue you.
Yeah, and, I think that it is, so there's definitely something to say about someone committed to you. And I think that that idea of commitment has nothing to do with the dynamic or the establishment of the title of whatever it is that you have going on. But oftentimes people put so much value into that title that they make it so that there is a couple of things that are attached to the title. So when we have a title, now you can get respect, now you can get love, now you can get commitment, now you can get all these things because we have this title. But really, all those things connected to the title have nothing to do with the title itself. It has everything to do with the psychology of the person and their idea of the title. I find that I have had a lot of alternative relationships, and a lot of reasons why I discuss the different relationships that I've had is because I think it is kind of like the 360, or I guess the 180 to what it is that a lot of people experience, because I haven't been with a whole lot of relationships that were traditional. I haven't had a whole lot of boyfriends or girlfriends or any partners for long term. I've never really had a partner in any long term that like exceeded 8 months, really, like for the first time in my life until like last year. So every single connection that I've had with someone always was with someone who I met this one time. I traveled to this one country. I had this one night stand. I had a lover in a different city. I would see this person when I traveled to that city. It always looked very different from like, oh, this is my boyfriend. This is what me and my boyfriend do. And this is how me and my boyfriend act. So I think that really there's a level of discernment that just comes with how much you work on yourself, you know, and how long you are alone in order to work on yourself. Because if you are always in relationships, that's hard too. It's not hard because you can explore a lot in relationships, but let's say you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't explore that much, then you're kind of stuck in a relationship that you're not really growing in, and you can't really work on yourself because your mind is working with someone else. So I would say that I think finding more about who Queenie is sexually and who Queenie is sensually, and what Queenie likes and all the things that makes her happy and aroused and flourish is what's going to allow you to attract people who are going to feed into that regardless of the commitment. It can be a little bit of work to kind of like, you know, deconstruct in the mind, like, oh, I don't have to have a boyfriend to do this. You know, maybe that's not the case. Like maybe you are always going to need to have a boyfriend in order to do that. But I think the idea of someone committing is a lot easier to understand and to discern if you worked on yourself enough to be like, oh, this person will just do what my big sister just said, because obviously I saw all these flags and they've always showed me themselves in this way, and yeah, they said they didn't like me, but that's the only thing they said, and nothing else is, you know, there with them. They have no commitment, they have no respect. Like I think it goes much more than like, it goes much farther than like, this person is not my boyfriend, that's why they did these things. It's like, no, this person is this way, boyfriend or not, that's why they do these things. It's really important to tell how this person is, whether they're my boyfriend or not, and that can allow me to explore more people without feeling negative about my experiences, because we're going to have great experiences, and I don't have to have this whole, you know, cloud on me thinking that, okay, if I'm promiscuous or I'm a hoe or I'm doing all these things that I dislike, because you just had an amazing experience with an amazing person that respects you, and it has nothing to do with him being your boyfriend.
Right.
You know,
I feel like that's like a realization that I've like been coming to, especially as of late, because I had to like really think about this, because like I used to like always feel like I'm not even going to come or orgasm or anything in the realm if it's not my man. Like if I'm not completely in love and engulfed in this relationship, like, because I've never experienced it otherwise. Like I tried it, like you gave me a good couple times to try to just fuck somebody on the strength of like, we're in this moment and like it's feeling right and I'm just gonna go for it. And it was like, this is the second time I've done this and it was trash the other time too. So there must be a trend going on here, you know, and I just start to formulate that in my mind. But I've realized recently that like, no, it's just the person and the people that I'll be attracting, like, and it's not so much of like even how I feel about the person, besides it being like the actual person themselves. I don't think that makes any sense, but like, yeah, I've been deconstructing that in my mind, and I'm also like, I completely different now about relationships and love and sex and all of that shit than I did back, but it was like I was with the same person, for like 6 years. Like I'm 28 now, so it's like I was just turned 22. You know what I mean? Like I've learned so much just about men too. Like they really just want to destroy us and just tear us down as much as they can. And they use sex to do that. And so it's like now I feel like it's more of a rebellion where it's like, you know what? If I want to, like, I have better discernment now, and I'm not gonna let any outside opinions determine what I feel like doing when I feel like doing it, because I'm grown as hell and you're childish. Grow up.
Period. We love the progression.
It's like I feel like with us, that's how we're feeling right on the surface, logically, but it's still affecting us.
You think so?
Yeah, like deeply, it's still affecting us. That's why we're like.
Still, well, see, I feel like my issue now actually is just that I'm not attracted to anybody ever. So it's like I'm involuntarily.
It is very rare for you to be attracted to someone.
I don't like niggas a lot. So
I feel that. I do want to be like, it's not all. Wait, you're 21. No, you just turned 22, you said.
28. I'm 28.
Oh, 28. Okay, cool. There's someone just like, 28, thought she was 21. Okay, someone thought you were 21.
For the past 6 years. But yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
28. No, someone thought you were 21. Kiss the crown. Someone was just like, don't spread that lie about you saying like all men want to hurt you. I agree that like not all men. There's no generalization for everything, but there are definitely way too many experiences of
because the men that don't hurt me
disrespect that what'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying because the men that don't hurt me end up being my friends.
Oh, period.
Right, because it's like, yeah, that's true. It's definitely not an generalizing.
Yeah, I don't mean to overly generalize.
But yeah, one thing, we're from the Midwest, and so we just got a loose way of talking.
But I'm sorry, you were about to say something. I kind of cut you off. What were you about to say?
I wanted to ask Rebel. You've had experiences in and out of relationships, and you don't necessarily have you've had experiences in and out of relationships that you've enjoyed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say that you've kind of judged or navigated something that your sister seemed to be struggling with, like finding or engaging with someone that is not your partner, but really enjoying the experience and having that be something that you put in your, life journey that kind of helps you navigate further relationships or, continue to have sex with other people who you're not necessarily dating, but, you could be dating, but not necessarily in a committed relationship with.
Well, it's like I've been doing that just recently as far as with my exes. Like as far as just bending the block back on them, which I had never really done. Every time you were an ex, it was like, okay, we're done. We could be cool and we'll be cool forever. But like, yeah, I'll never mess with you like that again. I'll never give that part of myself to you again. But then, my last 2 exes, like, that's why I feel like I'm turning that corner. I'm like coming to a different place. Like I feel like there was a place where I was where Samaya was, where she's like I said, on the surface. Like I feel like I was kind of on the surface of it, like, yeah, slut shaming is fucked up and all this kind of stuff, and like we should, like you should be free to be and just be smart and all, it's life. And I understood these things, but I still felt like, you have to be. Honestly, what I was saying on the last live, you have to be like obsessed with me and love with me. And like I understood later that was this control dynamic, or like that's made me feel better about allowing you to have sex with me. And so even I learned just through certain scenarios that I didn't necessarily try to be in. Like I was with a guy casually, but I don't act like when I like someone, I wasn't used to I'm used to being in relationships for so long. So when I met this guy and was hanging with this guy, I was almost being kind of relationship-y with him, and he loved it. And he, next thing you know, I want you to meet my daughter. And it was just like all of a sudden, this is feeling like a for real relationship. And I realized in that moment, I don't love him. Like, I don't love him, but I've been having sex with him, and I never made nothing really a thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Did I ever say me and EJ was a couple?
No.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't remember that. I don't think.
Yeah, so. I don't think I ever said like, because we never was like, it never was like an official thing. You know what I mean? But he was respectful. He was like, if I wanted a relationship, if I was in that space of being in love and open, which I just wasn't at that time emotionally, I would have, you know what I mean? Because he was those things, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So it was like, I realized in that moment, it was almost like a light bulb where I was just like, yo, I've been having sex with him, and I've been comfortable doing that, which I've never been able to do, because I tried it once drunk, and then I tried it another time, and both times was just awful. Oh, yeah. But then, yeah, I'm like, wait a second, this hasn't been awful.
The person.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like she was saying. But this is great. And, and then I realized I felt so bad because, I felt like I kind of like led him on. And then that's like, I had to let him know that it's like, I don't
love you, but I'm in this connection with you, or
no,
have a relationship, but it's not a committed monogamous relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, though, it wasn't even that. I actually broke it off. Like, after
you had the realization that you don't love him, you decided to not continue.
Yeah, well, no, it was like 2 weeks, and he was supposed to come on my birthday, and so that's when I felt like, okay, I'll be able to talk to him when he comes in person, because I hadn't seen him for a while. And so then he didn't show up for my birthday, and then I was just kind of like done with it at that point. I was just like, yeah. And then the person who is my ex now was there, and he was just so helpful and so like wonderful. And I'm just like, the guy that I'm smashing isn't even here for my goddamn birthday, so it was.
Here comes Prince Charming,
right?
On in. Whirlwind love affair.
And that was the first time I moved quickly in a relationship. So it was after that light bulb, because I usually freaking drag men through like this really long friendship zone period before I'm like, you're still here?
Right.
Still doing things.
You like me for real.
So yeah, you like
about the sex here. I think there's something valuable
Once I feel
about that.
I like to give the pussy when I feel convinced that they don't think they're ever gonna get it. Like I would get off on that. Like once they are like convinced, like, yeah, they get to telling me they business, embarrassing shit about other females, and I just know they would not tell a female if they're trying to smash her. They wouldn't say these things. Once they start being like really, really raw and honest and real, and like start really getting into some psychological shit, and you know what I mean, growing in this conversation, then it's like, now you're getting the pussy as soon as you let your whole little masculine guard down of like trying to get me.
Yeah, or ego guard down.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think there's something valuable with that method, because I once heard a while back that like the psychology of people in relationships, you get to see who people truly are within 4 months. It's like very hard for someone to hide who they are past 4 months. So there is like if you wanted to use that method of trying to get to know someone for a long time or dragging them through the friend zone, I think that that's perfect, because dragging them through the friend zone is nothing negative. It's literally just waiting and being my friend. Like, that's not a problem. I think that like people I dragged you to the friend zone. It was like, okay, did you just not have sex with him and have him hung around you? Yeah, that's what I did. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. I think that like that's very, very valuable, and I think that that is kind of, in a sense, it's very interesting. I think I've done both things unconsciously. I don't think I've intentionally been like, I'm going to wait for this on with too many relationships. I think I definitely did that with one lover that I had for like a good period of time. I think I considered him a lover because we weren't in a relationship, and when I would travel to his city, we would have sex, and we would be very open with our sexual experiences and our like vulnerability and things about our lives, things about our family. So we had a great friendship. That's really what the basis was, and we would have sex. So I consider people who have a relationship with me in that way my lover. So I had a lover. He was in New York at the time, and I would always go up to New York. When I would go up to New York, I would see him. This person, wow, I forgot my point. So there goes that. Oh, I remember. Okay, so okay, with this particular person, I don't usually drag things on, but for whatever reason, I told myself that for this person, I don't want to do anything at all with them. I don't want to kiss them. I don't want to like hug them too long. I, could hold hands with them, but that's like the extent of what I will do. And it took me 4 weeks to have our first kiss. And I think there was something special about the waiting period, because we didn't see each other every single day, but we saw each other every single week. And so we, for all intents and purposes, dated for 4 weeks before we had our first kiss. And then that first kiss was just such built up passion and desire that, it turned into a first lick and a first this and a first that. We didn't have direct penetrative sex, but we had some form of sex that night. And because it took so long to get to the kiss, we didn't even do everything that first time. We just got to the point where we desired each other and wanted to see each other again. And I think that like that build up is very, very powerful and is very, very valuable. And I think that allowing someone to wait is perfect, because that's what you are doing. You're getting to know. Waiting has such a bad connotation because people don't want to get to know you. And it's an issue with the fact that they don't really want a relationship. They just want a small relation that one time and then it's done. And that's fine for people who want to do that. I'm not that. So anytime I engage with someone, that's not what this is. Like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that with you. So just move on. If you see Ayana and you think to yourself, she looks kind of sexy, just move on. Just move on. It's never going to happen for you. I use this word a lot with my friend. Me and my friend always laugh about this word, like militant. Like, I'm so militant when it comes to stuff like that, that like, I'm never going to give anyone the time of day. Just because I can't physically or mentally or spiritually bring myself there. So I think that allowing a waiting period so that you are getting to know someone, so that you are establishing a relationship with someone, so that there is a basis for what you have with someone, is what everyone really should be doing, unless you really are not wanting to put any close connection in those ways with people, because you can easily have like a more transactional approach. You can easily have a more like, this is just a relation for me and this is what I'm doing approach. But for me, no matter who this person is to me, whether you are committing yourself to me as a official partner, whether you are a lover of mine that lives 1,000 miles away, whether you are the person who is going to marry me, like, it's going to be the same process with each and every one of those people, for me personally.
Yeah, that's facts. It's something else that I've realized about myself too, because I've never like met somebody and like fucked them that same night. Like, I've never had a one night stand or like or not even like within the first week. Like, I am definitely like, you try to kiss me on, and this is our first date, I'm gonna be like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Even if I really, really like you.
Yeah, even if I really like you, I'm really attracted to you. Like, and it is one of those things that I realize this about myself. I don't have to be in love to enjoy the sex. What it is I have to be physically attracted and mentally attracted. Like, you got to hit me on both of those levels. Like, I'm shallow, but I also have depth. It don't make no sense. But like, I was like, oh, okay, that's my problem, because like either he's really attractive and I'm like, ooh, and then he starts talking to me and I'll be like, interesting thing you got going on there. Or it's like, oh my God, you're so cool. I fuck with you super tough. But like, I'm not really that sexually attracted to you, but like, you're really cool and I really want to hang out with you. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, getting both of those things, that's when I'm like, oh yeah. And then I end up falling in love and then it becomes a relationship. And even if that's not what I wanted originally. So that's what I'm like, that's another thing that I'd be like, I started getting a little anxiety boiling up in there.
Interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
Pretty much been my experience. But like, at the same time, I'd be like, cause like, I don't know, I have a lot of friends, you know, sometimes I'd be like talking to my homegirl and she'd be like, girl, oh my God, I met this guy, he gave me 7 orgasms in one go. And I'd just be like, wow, like, I can't fathom what that is like. But like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't hurt to like, you know, it wouldn't hurt to try. I'm not completely opposed.
Like, I want a couple of them too.
You know what I mean?
I think that
we ain't gotta get married, but
right. I think it's interesting to. So, I didn't have a one night stand for what I thought was a long time as well. Like, people used to talk about them, and I used to be like, can't relate. So for a while, I just didn't really know what that could look like. I was just like, okay, so how does that work? Like, how do you get to the point where a one night stand is working for you? Because I am a person who is of depth. I'm a person who, I need connections. I need a physical connection. I need emotional connection. Even if it's not like, I need your soul bare to me in vulnerability. Like, I need you to be emotionally connected to me in the moment that we are connected. Like, I don't need you to be attached weirdly. Like, I need you to, you know, to be, and what I consider normal. People consider it not normal because it's not a typical thing that people do. But for me, in my relationships, it's normal for me. So I need a lot of things. I also don't necessarily need that mental connection if like someone is honoring me and centering my pleasure and I'm attracted to them in that moment. Like, that can happen for me, where now a one night stand is the case. But I also found that was more prominent for me when I started to travel. Now, it was never a thing that happened in the US. And when I went to college, I didn't really do it. And then I wasn't having sex in college anyway, until my later years. I think my senior year in college was when I finally started having sex, because it was after I turned 21 years old. When I went to like Costa Rica for the first time when I was studying abroad, and then I had gone to, you know, after I graduated college, I went all the way to Asia and lived there for a year. Like, I was starting to have these experiences where these people who I didn't speak all the language with, or didn't really have like that deep of a connection because we had so long of a connection. It was this person that I met this time who was so committed to centering my pleasure and expressing themselves in a sexual or sensual way that was very, very passionate, just gave me a different idea of how I wanted to engage in this one night stand. And I never saw them again. Like, but it was such a great, it's like, for so many of those experiences, I can think of at least 2 or 3. They're still some of the best experiences of sex I've ever had in my life, but they haven't happened more than once. It has only happened one time. So I think that also when it comes to exploration, there is a value to leaving where you at. Like, it's so important to explore other people. And also, I was talking about this with somebody. One of my friends was saying that they think that they should. Oh, it was you, Rebel. You said that you think that someone should date outside their race at least once because it teaches them so much about their body. And I was thinking about that because when I was in the U.S., before, when I was growing up in Miami, I had never dated anyone who wasn't a person of color, Black or Latin or Caribbean of some sort. And then I dated, not like committed officially, but I had my first experience with a white man when I went to Massachusetts, naturally. And when I went to Massachusetts, you know, I was talking to this Jewish guy there who now I'm still friends with him to this day, but we have like over 10 years of friendship. And he was someone who centered my pleasure, who was like really focused on like having exploration for me. I had my first yoni massage with him. I showered with a man for the first time and it was with him. I had my first threesome with him. Like all these things was first with him. And I was just open to the fact that I wanted to explore, and not to say that I didn't explore with any other people that I dated of any other races, ethnicities, because I have, but it was something special about me being as open to explore different things that has allowed me to know more things about my body and the dynamics of relationships that I want, based on the fact that I wasn't bogged down with having one view of who I wanted to share my body with. So I think that that's also very important.
Yeah. I have never been with anything besides Black man. The closest was a half Black, half Mexican. And yeah, I don't know. I get real weird about that. And it's really because it's like I get nervous because I be like, I'm a Black woman through and through. And it's like, you know, sometimes it just be like, I don't just don't say anything weird to me, or like just don't make me feel weird, you know what I mean? Like I get nervous that they're gonna like start judging me, or like I can't just be myself. Like I start to mask without even noticing, and like you know what I'm saying, where you start to like out of nowhere you just start talking with the white people voice, and like I feel like I don't want to feel like that at all. Like I'm gonna be myself no matter what, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'd rather just stay away from environments that make me feel like if I be myself, people are gonna judge me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to a certain degree, though, that's something you really have to work past.
Talking to you, huh?
Wait, what did you say?
Right, I'm sorry, I started rambling a little bit, but I was just saying that I know I care too much about what people think, but it's like it be the person in the moment. You know what I mean? Like in that moment I'm interacting with you, I have too much empathy. It's like I'm going to think about what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to try not to be offensive. I'm going to try not to come off whatever. Like when I'm my niggas, I don't think about that shit. I don't think about it at all. You know what I mean? But it's like as soon as I get around another demographic of people, it's like, oh my gosh, now I have to like, what are they going to think of me?
I don't want to be a nigger.
Right. Like,
yeah, I think that
I feel like I wouldn't be comfortable enough to like let go. Like my comfortability matters a lot with the person I'm dealing with, and I'm just very comfortable with Black men, and especially Black men who date and prefer Black women. Like I dated a guy who dated a lot of white girls, and it was like I was just like I can't do it. I can't do it. Like I don't know what it is, but it's something here that you make me, you offend me sometimes without trying to, and I don't always want to have to call you out about it or like trying to educate you or whatever. I just need a nigga who knows Black women, who loves Black women, and we ain't gotta have this conversation. Like,
yes, I think that there is definitely nothing wrong with that. I think that having like, well, you already said that, you know, that you probably think a little bit too much of how people probably think of you, because I think that the more that you, I think there was a comment here that was perfect. Like maybe you haven't met one of the substance of your authenticity. Like the more you put into how authentic you're going to be, the less you care about how people receive that authenticity, because then now you have a commitment to truth, and you have a commitment to who you are intentionally. And I feel like those commitments make it very hard for you to change up when someone else comes into the room or the space or the city or your relationship that might not look similar to other people. You're not going to want to conform for them. You're going to want to be yourself. And that is what like working on you does. Working on you makes it very, 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 very hard for you to conform. Like working on you makes it like, okay, but I'm like, you just said it, I'm a Black person through and through. It was like, if you were so confident in that, that would transcend past whatever ethnicity or race or person or age or profession that comes your way. Like no matter who it is, you're going to be that queenie Black woman through and through. Like nothing is going to allow you to switch. And there was a level of a shift for me when it came to that perspective, because now that you're speaking, I'm like, I definitely had some of those insecurities and that I think I worked through in college. I think that there was an idea of how people see you and how people understand you and how people judge you. And for that for me meant that, people are going to have an expectation of who I'm supposed to be as a Black woman and how I'm supposed to show up. Then I started to think, I am intelligent. I am well-rounded. I am well-spoken. I am understanding. I am compassionate. I am a damn good time. I'm a great person. Like, if someone decides to think of me negatively when I'm just being myself, then obviously that person is not for me. I don't have to change and conform and do all these things for that person. I think that this goes back to what I always say about people pleasing. Like, a lot of times people pleasing is only insecurities. Like, it has nothing to do with anybody else but yourself. Because the moment you decide to not please anybody, the moment you decide to be free, and that's it. Like, nothing happens. The world doesn't crumble down. You don't like lose a bunch of people in your life. Like, all you do is just stop feeling so bad all the time. Like, that works, And I think that when you have the idea in your mind that, like, okay, I don't want people to think that I'm not a good person. I don't want people to think that I'm not, cool. I don't want people to think that, I'm not smart. It was like, well, are you smart? Oh yeah, I am. Are you cool? Yeah, I'm kind of cool. Like, are you a good person? Yeah, I try to be a good person. Okay, then you don't have to worry about how people are receiving you, because you are those things. You don't have to worry about what you are. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that people are going to do that is going to take you out of who you are. So if you just are who you are, then you don't have to worry about anything else. And you will definitely not make everybody happy. You will definitely not have everybody like you. You will definitely not have everybody receive you or respect you, because that's not the world. The world is not going to all love and all receive and all respect, but the right people will. And you're never going to have to change for those people. Like, you're always going to only have to be yourself. So I think that there's like a level of confidence with self that is going to literally bypass all that, because then you can have your own boundaries too. If you say, no, I'm willing to talk to different people that are different from the Black men I'm used to, but if you say something crazy, it's gonna be a no, period. Because if somebody says something crazy to me, it's gonna be a no for me too. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a Black man or not. Like, if you say something crazy to me, it's gonna be a no. So whatever your boundaries are, doesn't have to like be dictated on what you're used to or what you like. You can have boundaries across the board, and people are going to have to adhere to those things, because those are just the things that you are going to flow with, And I think that's outside of the scope of like your comfort,
Yeah, because it's really coming a lot from a place of trauma too. Like, dumped into a place where it was like, I came from a predominantly Black environment, and then I got dumped into a place that was like predominantly Hispanic, or like even more specifically Mexican. Like, yeah, but it was mostly like even the Mexican, even the white people there was minorities, but like, but they thought
Miami too. Like, yeah, they it's just mostly Latin, and most of them Latins are racist, so I call them white.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. They think they're white anyway. So
yeah.
But it was like, so it was like being in that environment and just always being like treated like there's a problem with my skin, there's a problem with my hair, there's a problem that I'm a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? It was like, at one point I did definitely internalize a lot of those things. It was like, through that experience as well, it is why I'm stand so firm in my Blackness now, because at that time it was like, I thought it was a problem with my hair, and I thought it was a problem with my skin. You know what I'm saying? I had my sister and my mom, and it was like, if there's a problem with my skin, then there's a problem with their skin, and ain't nothing wrong with their skin. And you got them fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And through that, I would say, is when I started to be like, oh, well, fuck all that shit that they talk about, because they're wrong. I'm just fucking beautiful. My hair is like fucking amazing, and like, I'm a great person, and you not even gonna take the time to get to know me, then that's you missed out. Like, so like, I definitely feel that, and I definitely do feel that way to an extent as well. But it's like, I just dealt with so much racism from people that weren't even white, that it'd be like, my mind wasn't even open up to that. And I also feel like I never really had a lot of guys from other races try me either. So it's like, it's not something I'm completely opposed to.
Yes,
like, I find it on TikTok and stuff. I'll be like, oh, okay, where you at? I watch too much anime, I don't know. But like, but if somebody was to just try me and they were just handsome as hell, like,
I feel you, because I had very few people outside of my own race really pique an interest in me either. You know, I was just like, do y'all, these motherfuckers out here like me? Because I just never thought that they did until I started traveling. And I was like, okay, y'all do like me, but, you know, not in America. But you know, all over the world, though, they do. So that's why I always promote traveling, too, for people who are just learning more about themselves, period. Like, you need to feel who you are outside of America, because who you are is going to develop when you see who you are outside of this space.
Yeah, true. I do feel like traveling do give you a new era of like confidence and just like awareness.
Girl, I had a French Canadian be like, oh, it's your booty. Now there is, I'm not gonna say there's no level of, because a lot of people just like, okay, well, I don't want to be like objectified and I don't want to be like exotified. I'm like, you know, to a certain extent, I'm cool with it. Like there's a level of confidence that comes with someone who sees you as so exotic that they are really highlighting different parts of your body that you never thought were amazing. When I was in Canada, I'm, you know, petite, I'm skinny, and I went up there and this guy was like, your butt. And granted, yes, I'm a Black woman who's in fucking French Canada, and yeah, I'm not the typical person. I'm American, and he loved my butt. Like, for whatever reason, it was my ass for him. Okay. That's what it was. Okay. He ate it. I mean, he loved it. And I was like, okay. After that moment, I never thought anything about my ass other than this shit's amazing. My ass is amazing. There was someone who wanted to eat my ass because he saw me walking the street in Canada. Bitch, my ass is amazing. Like, there's a level of confidence that you get from just different people seeing your body in different ways, because there's so much insecurity that's embedded in the way that we see ourselves where we are, just because of so much history and so much education, miseducation, so much, you know, like insecurities that people are traveling down and putting on you, so much things that your family say about you and your body, so much things that people around you say about you and your body. Like, you're not going to really think wonderful things about your body if you're only seeing it through the lens of people who don't like you for real, you know? So there's a level of like, oh, you know, he's exotifying me. Okay, oh, in a way, it's like the antithesis to someone who is racist as hell. Like, maybe someone should exotify me so I see how amazing I am, because I've been getting it from the opposite end so long.
Right. I feel like that was kind of my dynamic in a weird way in San Antonio, because for me it was like, yeah, the Black guys definitely were not checking for Black women a lot in San Antonio, so that was kind of a downer. But then but the Hispanics, the whites, they were more just like into me, you know what I mean, which I had never experienced. Had a lot of like body shame as far as being slim and stuff like that, coming from my hometown. And yeah, like being in San Antonio, it was like, oh my God, you're so fit. Like, and they're like, your ass is fat. I'm like, what? No, it's not.
Hey, I was slick at that time though. She was on the depot. She was on the depot shot at that time though. You did have gained like a little bit of weight. Like, oh, she did. But I wasn't
it still wasn't that much though. Right. I was like only like 5, like in size 4.
But when you were back in Milwaukee, a lot of people that, you know, look like you grew up in a Black neighborhood, like all those people, you had a lot of body shame from that experience. So going to a place that had more Latin and more white, who just said something great about your body, you started to think differently about your body.
Yeah. Right. Just seeing that different perspective. I'm like, oh, okay, like, and I mean, not even like, you know, just working at the places I work, bartending, stuff like that, like people giving me all this money just because they're so enamored by my beauty. Like, is it that fucking serious? Am I that gorgeous? Like, even women too, like buying me shots. Like, women are like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like, you know, and it was like, I mean, in certain ways, it was like a lot of racism and a lot of backhanded shit with it as well.
Yeah.
It's like knowing that it comes from a good place because they think I'm so beautiful, but yet they're so racist that they can't believe I'm Black because they feel like I'm so beautiful. So what are you? And that was kind of why I grew my locks, just so it could just be like, nigga.
Make no mistake, I am Black up in here.
And we got to start working at at the Mexican Hooters. It's called Ojos Locos.
Ojos Locos.
If you're in Texas, you heard about Ojos Locos. But like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, and we had started working there together and stuff. And at first we was like wearing our wigs and stuff, but then like Vash was like, "Fuck that!" She had just started her locks. She had a little baby locks, and she was like nervous a little bit at first. And then she was like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna wear this fucking itchy ass wig. I'm just gonna wear my hair like."
I asked them first though.
Yeah, because they like it was crazy. They used to
it was an extremely like sexist type of work environment. It was kind of like a Hooters, but like a Hispanic version called Ojo Locos. And it was so funny because they were racist as hell. I had all this experience and they didn't hire me, and I'm just like, what? Like I never get hired. I never not get hired. Once I have an interview, I have the job, like because I am qualified and I am everything you want and need. So like.
Yeah,
I was just like, I feel like it's racist because I looked around. It's like no one is brown, no one. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I just feel like it's Ojo Locos. They want like Hispanic bitches up in here. I told her, I'm like, get you a freaking wavy wig because like you're lighter skin. Like go in there, I feel like you'll get hired. Got hired.
I had no experience.
No experience.
I had never served before. It's my first serving job. She was like, Sam, go apply. You're gonna get hired. I was like, all right. I went in, bitch, applied. Fucking got hired. I was like, oh, you're right. Like, oh my God, this colorism shit is so real. Like, that's what, like, nobody could ever tell me anything about it. I know it firsthand from both instances, like, from being the darkest girl in the room and being the lightest girl in the room. Like, I experienced both, you know what I mean? So, like, that shit blew my mind. And I was the only black girl, like, brown skinned black girl there for a long time. It was like 2 other black girls, but they were so light and ambiguous, like, you couldn't tell, you know what I mean?
And I ended up getting hired later.
Yes, and yeah, and my boss was like, you have like we came to eat there, and he was like, you have a sister? Tell her to apply, like. And then she applied. She went through the whole process, whatever, got hired or whatever. And then they hired like 2 or 3 more dark skinned black girls after that. But like I swear, she opened the door for these. He was like, yeah, we got him up through there. But yeah, this bitch came in there making bank with her with the little baby locks. Like,
oh yeah, I
showed
the manager a picture because they were very strict. We actually got scored on our appearance. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a crazy sexist kind of job, but like we really got scored on our appearance. But anyways, I showed one of the managers a picture of me just with my locks, and they were really small at the time, like just these little. They look like curls.
They
used to piss me off. Like they're not curls. But he was like, oh yeah, no, that looks good. And I promise you, I made way more money because it was just like the girl with the locks. It was like I just looked so different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed too is that men sometimes will just say that they like something just because it's popular to say, just because men have created a culture around this particular thing being popular. And this is where I used to like come at my ex a lot because he's a rapper, and I used to be like, you're a colorist, and I used to come at him for being colorist all the time. He'd be like, I'm not colorist, I love dark-skinned women, da, 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 da. And I used to be like, how come you don't never rap about dark-skinned women? How come you don't never rap about dark-skinned women? I don't know, it just because it's just cool to say. Men just say they like big booty BBL baddies just because it's just cool to say, and they like the fucking, what is that called, dictation or whatever. But anyways, you know, they just say that they like these things, but they like everything, really. Because I remember dudes in high school saying, I don't like black girls, and shitting on black girls. And then later on in life, they was in my DM on Facebook. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I thought you ain't like black girls. Yeah, bye.
Because that was like, cool to say.
Because it was just cool to say. Like, yeah. I just need to say that.
I don't know if it's going to give me a countdown because sometimes it does. We are definitely like 2 minutes away from it being an hour, maybe like 5 minutes away at max. I am just going to see if we could take questions, and then maybe we could just do a round 2. People were putting all types of shit in the comments, which I appreciate, but I definitely
wish I could see the comments.
Right, because we were talking. So if you have any new questions that you want to ask or old questions that no one paid attention to, please send them now. You can write them into the captions or write them into the question box on the down right-hand side of your screen. And then this will be played back on my page if you are wanting to know what we said. This is going to be a playback. Going to be posted on here on Instagram, and I'm also going to take the audio and put it on my podcast, which you can find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all different platforms. And I'll also be putting this on YouTube by the weekend. So if you have any questions, definitely write them in the caption so that we can read them and answer them. I think I had glanced like back and forth a little bit and tried to like put in there when I saw a question. I was just like, let me just say this out loud to answer this question, even though I didn't directly address it. So if y'all have any more questions, y'all can do so. But we can definitely do a round two. But I was really interested, not really interested, but really happy that this kind of got into a lot of the dynamics of like how you see yourself sexually based on how people are perceiving you, based on like things like racism and colorism and, you know, relationships and dynamics with different people and different places, and, you know, just reiterating like the things that we said earlier. But yeah, I think that it's very interesting for you guys to have been in Milwaukee with one experience, be on the West Coast with another experience, and now being in Atlanta with a whole different experience, you know. What is the difference, would you say, between Atlanta and Milwaukee, seeing as though they're both predominantly Black cities for you two?
I feel like because Atlanta is more of a melting pot, it's more of a diversity, I could say, of like Black men, where I feel like Milwaukee is kind of like all the niggas are pretty much the same, you know what I mean? Like same kind of mentality, they kind of move the same way, and then there's like some here or there every now and again. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. But like Atlanta is just so many people from so many different places that you really get like all these different flavors, like
and styles
and styles and just whatever. It's like, yeah.
That is. I think too, Atlanta's very like the people that come here are, and the people that live here are very proud, and the people that come here kind of have like some type of something about themselves for the fact that they came out here and tried to start a life out here and trying to go after something out here. So I just feel like it's
the mentality just different anyway.
Yeah, like it's just a certain type of networking energy that isn't like dating pressure is not that tight here, I feel like, because you can easily just get someone's Instagram and, you know what I'm saying, just connect and for whatever reason, or go to, you know, like it could be completely casual, like almost like that dragging people through a friend zone thing. Like in Atlanta, it just naturally can just work that way, as far as like you just being completely cool with different people, and then, you know, if the God's will and Cupid shoots the arrow, you know, whatever, it means something, you know. But I think that is a big difference, because it's like in Milwaukee, it's very like kind of almost traditional, like, whereas Atlanta tends to make their own rules in a sense, which I'm so for, because I'm a male. Yeah, like we kind of more doing what you see fit and what's comfortable with you and what you're about. It's like just more respectful, more mature in a sense to me, where I feel like Milwaukee is very traditional. And honestly, a lot of traditional ideals to me are immature. Like it comes to like a lot of this stuff comes off immature to me, because where did a lot of the immature stuff that you hear, where did it come from? Their parents. Like, so yeah,
I get what you're saying. Like men here are more progressive.
Yeah, men here are more progressive, more open, like more not as judgmental. It is so
slightly different energy.
Definitely a slightly different energy. And you definitely got the misogynists and the players and all that stuff, because you got all these flavors here though. So that's I guess that's going back to what you were saying.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think that is cool. Just because I've never been to Milwaukee, you know, I don't know the dynamics. I don't know the city at all. I don't know the people. All I know is the stories that Rebel tells me. So that's the only thing that I have connected.
And Milwaukee, ill mill, kill mill, still mill, trill mill.
Say what?
Just start naming off the nicknames.
Right.
Is that what people call it?
Yeah. Kill mill.
Kill mill?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Milwaukee.
Yeah. It's just a little hood city.
They was rated as the
bottom
number
of
one first. They was the top rated, I think, city for like black on black violence or some shit like that. Like before it was Chicago, but like one of them years, like 2018 or some shit, Milwaukee was number one. Like it's really gotten worse over the years, but yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
And that just kind of, the negativity of that just kind of floats in every aspect of life, including sexuality, including relationships, including like who you're going to be meeting, pretty much.
Exactly. It's just bound to, and it's a very small city, so it's like.
So yeah, it's like that's why I'll be always saying like I feel like Milwaukee's worse than Chicago, and I know people from Chicago probably get out of my head for saying that, but it's just like if you just imagine Milwaukee's so close, a lot of Chicago people move there because the benefits there is cracking. Everybody know that Milwaukee benefits cracking. You get a
Milwaukee
baby,
for some reason feel like they gotta compete with Chicago, like,
and then like they feel like they're in the shadow, craziness and
violence, like
and you know it's just a cold city with poor black people. Honestly, it's gonna breed a certain type of behavior no matter where you are. So I'm like, people be trying to like rep their city. I'm the hardest. That's just not even cool. Because like at the end of the day, we're cold. That's why I'm like something about being in the South and just being in the sun. Like you go ahead and say you're cold. Like why?
Yes, there's a science to
a lot
it.
of other things,
right? The streets cold just make your heart cold. It's like 20 degrees in Milwaukee right now.
Because I just feel like the hood and how hood niggas act and stuff is just different than here. Like y'all, it's a hood here. It's a poverty-stricken behavior, but there's just a coldness. It's just different.
I can see that.
What it is, but just
I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah. So even the niceness feel a little mean sometimes. Like another person could really love you and shit, but they talking hella shit. You know, damn, is this love? Oh my God, they're looking out for me, and because people are just really blunt instead of being like, hey, you need to work on it. You stupid. You stupid, bro. You fucking stupid. What you doing is stupid. You need to stop being stupid. Like, honestly. Because you just really looking stupid out here. You know? And like, dog, you dumb, bro. This thing, on what? Is he not stupid? Like, you know, now everybody calling you stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
niggas is mean.
Yeah, niggas can be mean for real. So, yeah, but and they'll all be in love because honestly, you was stupid.
And be glad.
So they care about you and they're just telling you what you were doing.
You know, they just wasn't nice about it, but
they were honest.
You needed to hear. Yeah, it was actually true.
Okay, so I don't know if this one cut off, but let me see. There's 3 questions.
I don't know by the way you just made that noise.
No, because there's 3 questions. There is, does emotional investment in a partner impact quality of sex, or is that separate? Why or why not? I feel like we kind of already talked about that earlier. There's another question that says, can you tell people to date other Black races? Traveling does not mean that you are only going to white places, but the places haven't been the continent of Africa as of yet, and I haven't really dated any Afro-Latinos or have great experiences with people in particular Black Caribbean countries personally, so that's why I didn't speak to those, but I love Black people, that's clear. Where did you feel most comfortable sexually or sensually, and why do you think that is for all of you? Then that's a good question to end on. Where did you feel the most comfortable sexually or sensually, and why do you think that is?
Where did I feel the most comfortable? I guess I'll have to say it would be my ex, my most recent relationship. Like we were just together for so long, you know what I mean? Like after you're just with somebody that much, like we were together all the time. So it's like, you know, he knew my body quite well. I was very comfortable with him. We also like knew each other for a little while before we like made a relationship official, and like waited to have sex until our relationship was official. And, like I was completely comfortable and already had feelings for him, and all those things was already established by the time we decided to have sex. And so it was like, and I'm a naturally monogamous person, and I realize that about myself. Like I'm not really the kind of person that likes to just have 5 niggas at a time. Like I don't even like to keep up texting with one person, like let alone 2 to 3. So
She's right.
yeah, and I feel like if I find somebody who is that same type of person, which I feel like is so rare in men these days, for a man to be like, you know what, I actually just like to deal with one chick at a time. Like, if I was to find that and it was like a genuine thing, and he's just like, yeah, you know, and if we decide to take it further or we don't decide to take it further, like, you know what I'm saying, I'll keep the open communication with you because I'm not dealing with other women, and I can be honest with you about these things because we're not in a relationship. Like, I feel like that would make me feel very much comfortable. Like, oh, okay, at least I don't have to worry about STDs or just pop a baby on me or some weird ass crazy shit. And yeah.
What about you? Where have you felt the most comfortable, sensual or sexually, and why?
Man, if I just keep it like real 100% raw, I would say it was that, you know, a few months of me being a dancer and meeting Kayla. Because, you know, right before then I was such a tomboy and I never really saw myself as sexy. And to be in the environment that was very for it to be a strip club, it was kind of empowering in a sense, because like when I went to Milwaukee and like I heard about the strip clubs there and how they have a schedule, like a real job and everything, and I'm like, what? Like they treating y'all like just some regular employees? You're shaking that ass. You know what I'm saying? Like what? You know, they really, it was kind of like, you know, they had shows, and, you know, I was like Michael Jackson one time, moonwalk to the back, like they had, and then like the club was like owned by a cop. I used to make taco dip, like, and everybody knew that, like, you know, oh, she's you know, they kind of saw me as a virgin. I wasn't a virgin, but the fact that I was only with one person and still with that person during that time, they kind of treated me like that, like, oh, like baby or something or whatever. But it was just so cool, and because it was owned by cops and because they had a good idea of me, and like it was like this thing where no one felt like I belonged, you know, because I would be at the bar reading a book. And I would be wearing like a long, sexy, tight sweater, but it would be a sweater because bitch, it's cold. I'm fucking anemic. So I need to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's the type of place where they can't really tell you what to do. You're an independent contractor. You know, you're paying technically to be there. You're paying to be there. So, and they want you there. Like, they're hoping and praying you get there. That's how the DJ gonna make money, because they tip them and all that type of stuff. So they need the girls. And that's why I feel like in Milwaukee, I almost wanted to do like a civil rights thing for the strippers. Like can we get a union doing? What is going on? They need you. There would be no niggas if there was no bitches in here. Why don't
they treating you like you're
have more respect? Like, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. And you know, but the women have to understand that. It's like, y'all are going along with this.
Mm-hmm. You have power.
You have the power. Don't fucking go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but having those months and it broke down a lot of those issues that we were talking about earlier of just sexual, like how I viewed it. You know, I always felt like strip club was just full of hoes. You know what I mean? That's really how I felt. And at one point, and so like just being there and seeing like, you know, a woman that's a mom and freaking getting her master's and stuff, and like, yeah, there was hoes, straight up promiscuous, if I'm being politically correct, but there was a lot of women who were respectable, who were, you know what I mean,
a lot of diamonds in the players.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying, and honestly, it was fun. Like, I love dancing, and I felt so free and so beautiful. People throwing 20s. I would look down. Oh my God, a 20. Oh, you can't ever tell me I'm ugly ever again. At this point, you have to pay me more to tell me I'm ugly for me to believe you.
Right. Here's $1 million. You are despicable.
You know, so I feel like that's when I felt free. That's when I gained confidence as a woman. And I honestly felt like I learned how to gain respect from disrespectful men. Because if you can gain respect like naked and like in a thong or whatever, which I was never naked, one, because Texas is not about that. But if you can gain respect, like all hoop with your little, I used to have these little shorts and a little thing and like pasties. If you know, and if you can do that in that type of environment, then you can do that anywhere. And it really helped me just being a bartender and everything else that I continue doing in the rest of my life, honestly, dealing with men, because men are themselves in the strip club. So it taught me so much about like men, and it really took away me feeling like, and me realizing that women are beautiful, different shapes, sizes, whatever, like, and men act like they like this and that, like what's popular, but he over here making it rain on her, and she's nothing like what was supposedly, you know,
everyone's supposed to like.
Right. So, yeah, it just really opened my mind just to a lot of different things in that type of aspect. And I never experienced even being sexy or flirting. I always was kind of this tomboy, and the guy that I was with at the time, we were like friends that ended up together. We never dated. We never was romantic. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you share that, and I love that perspective. I think it's so valuable too with so many people, because there's so many perceptions of what that looks like, or what that is like, or the type of women that belong in there. Like, there's so much. I mean, anything that's sexualized is going to have like misconceptions, and heavy misconceptions that, of course, are stereotypes that hurt, you know, the people who are there just because of the way that people judge them. I would say for me, in my answer, like where I was the most sensually and sexually comfortable, and why, I would say has been, it's kind of like not a direct answer. I would say traveling has created a comfortable space for me sensually and sexually, because it has allowed me to get out of a space where I wasn't deeming anyone, you know, worthy, to the point where I was receiving such a comfort in my connection with these people all over, whether I was in Costa Rica, whether I was in Canada, whether I was in South Korea, like in all different types of men, different ethnicities. I mean, Southeast Asian, East Asian, you know, South American, Central American, Afro Latino, like whoever. Like, I've got so many. I started to perceive myself, I already have confidence, but the growth and building that confidence and transmuting that confident energy in every other place of my life is always going to be a journey. And that traveling created that for me. Like, it made it so that I didn't have any issues going anywhere by myself. Like, I can get on a flight tomorrow and go to an offshore island, okay, on the coast of Malaysia. I will be fine, okay? I will be looking forward to it. I think that there is like a level of calmness you have with just who you are in any place. I'm gonna be Ayana from Miami 305 till I die in South Korea. Like, and I don't care how you want to act like you perceive me because the only time that you see somebody Black is on TV. I don't care. I'm gonna be myself regardless. Like, yeah, I might adhere to some things that you saw on this show that you watch that only show Black people, you know, killing others, or I'm like, not even but I'm gonna adhere to some of those things, because maybe some of the ways that I talk, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what I heard on television. But I'm not going to slight myself or be less of myself because of how much you know about people who look similar to me. Like, I don't care. I think that has just translated sexually. Like, I don't care about how much I'm showing my sexual self if I'm in a space where I am comfortable and accepted and my pleasure is being focused on and centered. Like, I'm going to show all of myself, and I'm going to be be all of myself. And I really, really found my sexual self really, truly when I mean, this is probably why Costa Rica is still one of my favorite countries, because I just developed myself in so many ways when I was there. Like, I moved there when I was 20. I turned 21 when I was there. I was going to school there. I was studying there. I was learning Spanish out there. I was living with a host family out there. So I had like a mom, a dad, a little sister who were all Costa Rican. I was living in their house for 4 months. Like, I was traveling alone when I was out there. I had people traveling because the area I was in, even though it was up in the mountains and it was so small, people were coming there. They literally, I think, had like over 100,000 like expats, people who just came from all different other countries within like half a year. Like, out of 6 months, there'll be 100,000 people who come here. Like, it was such a high traveled spot where I was, even though it was a very, very small town in the mountains. So having so much interaction with so many different people from so many different places, I feel like just allowed me to become flourish and open. And one of my favorite experiences and the best experience I've ever had that I still have, I had never had penetrative sex yet, because I turned 21 there, but I didn't really start having penetrative sex until I started to actively, come back to the US and stuff like that. I think I like started there. But there's this one guy who did not have penetrative sex with me with his penis, but I had the best, most aroused, climactic experience I still have had in my life with him just using his mouth and his hands. Like, and it's just one random tatted guy from Argentina who happened to be in the mountains for a week and then left. Like, just random, just super random, but experiences that I will never forget, that have allowed me to learn so much about what I like from sensuality and what I like from sexuality, and what things that I can, what gives me arousal, like what gives me climax, what's going to really give me the best orgasm ever. Like, I know all these things because of all these like experiences, and really traveling is what got me there. So that's my answer for me.
Very interesting. She said, get a passport.
Right.
Oh, and that's on period.
Gotten some one night head. And done that, a couple times.
But yes, I see a lot of friends in the chat, so thank you all for joining. We're about to head out. Thank you, ladies. We can definitely do a part 2, because why not? We can schedule something for next month. I think that'll be really awesome. I really love the talk. I think next time we can probably talk more about sensuality and see how, we have explored in those senses, whether we have had a lot of explorations of those senses, and how that differs from the sex that we have had in our lives. I think that'll be really interesting to talk about. So that could be our round 2. And let people know what's coming up for you guys, where they can find you, and any other information you want to let people know before we end.
Well, for one, we're going to be in Athens, Georgia. Yep. It's a free show. It's a Halloween fashion show thrown by BYV, and it's going to be lit. We're doing a 25-minute set. So we're definitely going to be putting this show on, and it's going to be lit. It is an hour away if you're in Atlanta, but I mean, pull up.
Yep. And we got the rotation video that's about to be dropping very, very soon. Follow us at We Are Highness. Y'all don't see it on your screen. So we're gonna be announcing the date for that officially very, very soon as well. And then we got some new music dropping and stuff like that
coming up. So be looking for all of that. So yes, We Are Highness on Instagram, and YouTube is the Highness Movement. We're about to start dropping covers, and consistently trying to drop covers every month or something like that. So.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yes.
Yay. So thank you guys for joining another episode of Sex Talk. We are going to have it every Tuesday for the next couple of weeks. We're going to try to consistently have it every Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'm going to have to check who next, but we have one coming up next Tuesday, same time, same place, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be posting flyers in my story, and I will also be posting one reminder flyer on my page, so keep a lookout for that. And until next time, you very lovely people. Love you, ladies.
I'll be tuned in next Tuesday for sure.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Peace.